Hey everyone, Alpha here. Man, E3's finally over. I got a chance to watch all the trailers, digest everything, and kind of think about it. This is going to be an awesome year for gamers. Over the last couple weeks, we finally got to see some screenshots, teaser trailer, and thanks to E3, some gameplay footage of Fallout 4. This game literally drove people, myself included, nuts over the last couple of years with all the fake leaks, the bullcrap Survivor 2299 hoax, and numerous other fake trailers literally littering YouTube. We finally have some legitimate cannon fodder, and I, for one, couldn't be more excited. I wanted to take a few minutes and share some of my thoughts on things that I've kind of been thinking over and things that I've noticed, some speculation that some of the other game reviewers aren't really talking about. Can we say finally? Fallout 3 was very limited on how much you could actually customize any weapon. It was either a rare gun or it wasn't. There was some crafting, but most of the guns were pretty terrible. Although I did personally enjoy the railway rifle, it was a pain due to the fact on how fast the gun would deteriorate, the limited amount of ammunition, and the fact that the only way to repair it, outside of vendors, was to gather the materials and craft a boatload of them and then store them in your home in Megaton. New Vegas took a step in the right direction with a fully functional set of upgrades for most weapons. These, however, were still very restrictive as they often served the same function, either reducing weight, increasing durability, or silencing the weapons, something along those lines. The new game showed this image, which instantly caused my spider senses to tingle. When I saw the baseball bat with nails in it, could we possibly be able to take a handful of nails and hammer them into a baseball bat to increase damage? Well, with the new round of screenshots, it seems the answer is yes. It seems like at least a portion of the weapons will be customizable and could be possibly linked to the survival skill that we saw in New Vegas. I personally would love to see more homemade weapons similar to what we saw in Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light. Logically, if 200 years have passed, finding a fully functioning rifle would be a rarity, especially since I believe people would have been out fighting and struggling to survive this entire time. It also seems like we are going back to the future with our weapons again, like we saw in Fallout 3, with more of the sci-fi look on guns instead of the more modernized look we saw in Nevada. I kind of have mixed feelings on this, as I've enjoyed both aspects, although I'm sure in either case, mods will be made shortly after to fix either way. It looks like the VAT system, Pip-Boy, and the special tree are all getting a much needed overhaul. VAT seems like it will function more along the lines of the slow motion or bullet time effects seen in games such as Max Payne. It also seems like more thought was given into bullet placement, although blowing someone's arm off did give some enjoyment. The Pip-Boy seems like it will remain closely the same, with a little bit better of a UI and a little cleaner look to it. I'm really hoping there will be some way to kind of sort out junk, or maybe some way we can at least separate what we want to keep and what we don't see. I'd love to see a junk tab where we can move all things we have no use for, stuff like dented cans, forks, burned books, etc., so that they don't just clog up our inventory. The special tab really caught my interest because it looks like our stats are much lower than they have been in the past. My thought path is it's either going to be harder to max out skills, possibly the level cap will be set a little higher, or either those points are going to be made up through a system like bobbleheads and implants like we saw in the past with Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Personally, I love the bobblehead system, and I really hope they give serious consideration to bringing that back in the future. Everyone needs to calm down about the damn dog. That was one of the first things I saw blow up the comment section was how the dog looks. First off, relax. I promise you that as soon as the creation kit is released, that will be one of the first things mods do, just like every other Fallout game. I imagine we will see a HD texture pack soon after that brings the game closer to a 4K experience, and Bethesda isn't stupid. They know that everything that they do, everything that they don't do, the modding community is going to take care of. So why not focus your efforts on the gameplay and the storyline and leave the little minute details and tweaks to the modding community. Second off, remember when Fallout 3 launched, its graphics were really considered subpar, and it's still considered one of the best games ever made, so just relax. Something else that I've noticed that not a lot of people are talking about, at least not any of the other game reviewers, are the attention to the environmental detail. The lighting, even when the guy's walking through the dark alley there, it's clearly raining and there's dust. I mean, you can see a lot of attention went into the environmental detail. I personally think it looks amazing, so I'm surprised more people aren't focused on that aspect of it. With the new environmental changes that I feel are going in, this could be an awesome situation for anyone who enjoys the hardcore aspect. This could bring in effects like hypothermia, need for fire, and warmth could all be challenges, along with the starvation, dehydration, sleep deprivation that got put in New Vegas. Lighting effects definitely are on the agenda and could provide a really cool and spooky experience inside of caves and vaults, along with being out after dark. It could be possible that batteries for a flashlight or even making torches before heading into a dark environment could be some neat options as well. Bethesda talked about the variations that will be used for character models, which was sorely needed. Fallout 3 was notorious for whitewashed characters, and many raiders would look identical. It would be nice to see more variations in size, appearance, and race. I am hoping that it would be possible to use some type of randomizer that uses different facial features so that many different types and builds and looks could be created. And for the love of God, Bethesda, find more than 6 voice actors for the random NPCs. It seems pretty clear by now that the dog is going to be a very big part of the game. This is the first time that it seems that Fallout is encouraging you to have a permanent companion. It makes me curious though how many other companions you will wind up with. I think the dog is going to be pretty neat and make the wasteland feel less lonely, but I do have a couple of concerns. Hopefully it is at least an option to turn off the dog getting killed. Hopefully it will be as simple as the dog getting knocked out. I also think it would be neat to have the option to turn the dog into an assist or passive mode, as I avoided followers in Fallout 3 because they would just get killed, and in New Vegas because they just tended to get in the way. I would also love to see a more intelligent enemy. An enemy that would take cover, switch weapons, and maybe even use stim packs depending on the difficulty would be great. The mole rats digging out of the ground leads me to believe that ambushes and surprise attacks are going to be more common. A more interactive environment is definitely also on my wish list. Something that annoyed me about Fallout 3 was often upon completing a major quest, you would simply get a thanks, and no further impact would be given. Big Town is a perfect example. After defeating the super mutants and helping the citizens defend the town, it would be nice to see a rebuilding effort going on, more people coming to town, vendors stopping by, and stuff like that. At the live gameplay segment at E3, Bethesda stated that they didn't want to give too much of the story away, but that your character would emerge 200 years later. After stumbling across Codsworth, the player asks, "How long have I been out?" It is my belief that either the vault contains a type of cryo chamber or possibly a virtual reality preservation system, much like we saw in Fallout 3. These would also explain why your wife and child are not with you, as these systems are prone to failure, and Vault Tech's penchant for the less than altruistic research. Possibly number 2 is that the character isn't really alive anymore, but is possibly an android copy of the human that has memories programmed into it. This is a possibility due to the close proximity of the Institute, assuming that it still exists at this time, but every indication is that it's alive, well, and thriving. What do you guys think, though? Are you guys excited for Fallout 4? Are you disappointed? Is there any special features that you guys want to see that Bethesda didn't really put on the list? Let me know in the comments below. Take it easy, guys. Alpha out.